Well, hello there. I am the shadow of Alexandra Van Zeeland, but you may refer to me as AVZ for short. First of all, what a big steaming trauma dump the first episode was. Now everyone knows the wounded child that lives inside of me and her story, and that's great. But it's my turn to talk. You had your moment, Alexandra. God knows I had to listen to it 50 times as I attempted to fix the multiple sound issues within the recording. You see, I'm the part of the self that remembers to put the microphone condom on, whatever the thing is called, I don't know. But I remember to put it on, so I don't have to edit out every click, clack, smack, and millennial pause that might be captured on video. It was madness, oy vey is mere. But I'm here for educational purposes, because I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about your shadow and how you can integrate it into your everyday life. So without further ado, welcome to Trauma Bonding. This is episode 2. Let's get into it. Now, how would I explain the shadow? Well, it's the part of the self that tells people to go themselves. It's the part of the self that brews in anger, frustration, sadness, and jealousy. Because it's the psychological archetype that's been suppressed more commonly than not, it finds a way by shaping our inner world and thoughts. So all the nightmares you've been having, or patterns that you've been repeating throughout your life, is the shadow's way of communicating with you. It lives inside of every one of us, and it will manifest itself outwardly until you are able to notice it. But what if I told you that your shadow is the key to oneness within yourself? And in there lies a treasure trove of creativity. Let me ask you a question and try to answer it honestly. How many times a day do you have an uncomfortable thought that arises seemingly out of nowhere? Or how many times in a week do you judge someone for merely being their authentic selves? Whenever you have a negative emotional reaction to a thought or a person, it's because it touched on your darkness. Let's say I was jealous of someone else's success. You know why? Because I want that same success too. I want it. Fuck them. I could probably even do it better. Let's be real here. Come on now. She's a babe. A babe with a big mouth. Look, the shadow has needs and wants, and it communicates to you through your emotional responses. The shadow isn't just about darkness. It's about potential. I will tell you, I haven't always been perfect. I'm doing pretty damn good right now, though. I only ever let the Kraken out when I had to sink someone's ship. This led to some volatile exchanges and or detours, but I'm going to tell you about some of them because I feel like I should share a little bit about myself. So buckle up, bitches. It's story time. Number 3. A few girlfriends and I, we wanted to go out dancing. It didn't matter that we were underage. Wasn't going to stop us from having a good time. So we broke into the club, and I noticed that there was this chick that was like circling my friend. I didn't know her, but there was beef between the two of them. And I didn't like how close she was circling around my friend. I knew at one point that she was about to attack her, so I ran up behind her and I grabbed her by her arms and I screamed for my girlfriend Rocio to turn around, and without missing a beat, Rocio just whacked this bitch. Oh my God, it was amazing. So I held on, kept her upright until we took it to the floor. They say don't kick someone when they're down, but if you're already down there, eat this foot, motherfucker. I know many men around the world would do anything to suck on one of these little delicate toesies. Number 2. I was going through my first ever heartache. I was a teenager, So I was devastated when this dude broke up with me. He replaced me rather quickly, and that did not sit well with me. This was around the time that MySpace was very popular. So I thought of a way that I could get back at him. And it was rather creative. What I did was I created a profile as a man named John. I found pictures of a hot dude, had to have been about 19, but I was going to say I was 17, you know. I wanted to be a little bit older, a little bit more refined, but still in high school. Once I had added enough girls to be my friends so it looked like a true MySpace profile, I sent the friend request to her. That started our correspondence. You see, I wanted to prove that I was the better boyfriend. And John, he got in the way of their relationship. It was real psycho shit, but I'm still pretty proud of myself for coming up with a very innovative way of getting back at an ex-boyfriend. And the number one AVZ shadow story goes to the time I had to use the bathroom, but this bitch pissed all over the seat. I was waiting pretty patiently. I needed to go. This was a club downtown, probably closed down at this point. And I heard the toilet flush. Girl comes out. There is urine all over the seat. I told her, hey, you need to wipe the seat down. She told me that she wasn't going to do that. I gave her a warning that she might want to clean this seat, or I was going to use her face to clean the seat. She pushed me and said, get away from me, you are crazy. And that's when I had to show her exactly how crazy I was, because I grabbed her by her hair and I stuck her head over the seat and I wiped her face in her own urine. And then when I was done, I slammed her head over and over and over again into the toilet bowl. I flushed it a few times. How do you like that? You're not going to clean the seat? This is what's fucking wrong with people. Yeah, she got swirlied. I don't think there was a better or more diplomatic way than rubbing her face in her own urine to get the point across. And these were the top 3 AVZ shadow stories. Let's get back to the program. Now, I'll be the first to admit I didn't necessarily handle those situations with grace, dignity, or charm. There was no suppressing my shadow. It was a full-blown mutiny. But if you're going to learn anything about your shadow, we need to start with the basics. Like, who is Carl Jung? Carl Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychologist who founded analytical psychology, and in some ways, known for giving a response to Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis. Jung proposed and developed such ideas as introvert and extrovert personalities, archetypes, and the collective unconscious. His childhood was lonely, although enriched by a vivid imagination, and from an early age, he observed the behavior of his parents and teachers, which he tried to resolve. Especially concerned with his father's failing belief in religion, he tried to communicate to him his own experience of God. In many ways, the elder Jung was a kind and tolerant man, but neither he nor his son succeeded in understanding each other. His disappointments throughout childhood led him to break away from the steadfast family tradition in religious pursuits for the study of medicine and psychiatry. He began his studies at Basel University in 1895 through 1900, and he became an MD by 1902. Jung began his career with outstanding success by applying association tests initiated by other researchers. He studied especially patients with peculiar and illogical responses to stimulus words and found that they were caused by emotionally charged clusters of association withheld from the consciousness because of their disagreeable, more compass and frequently sexual content. He used the now famous term complex to describe such conditions. While interning at a psychiatric facility, he began a fruitful working relationship with Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. That is, until a difference in psychiatric opinions based on treatment plans developed between the two. The break from Freud did have its pitfalls. Freud had a close inner circle within the psychoanalysis community, and Jung was shunned after publishing The Psychology of the Unconscious. In 1914, he resigned from the International Psychoanalytic Society and continued undaunted in the development of his own ideas. In his future research, he would focus on archetypes and their roles in each individual human psyche. Carl Jung's personality theory focuses on the interplay between the conscious and unconscious mind, universal archetypes, the process of individuation, and psychological types. The theory emphasizes the integration of various aspects of personality to achieve self-realization and encompass universal and individual dynamics. To achieve psychological wholeness, Jung believed in the integration of the separate archetypes like the shadow, the ego, the personal unconscious, and the self. These archetypes and their reoccurring patterns of behavior and thoughts influence our personality. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow explains how suppressed traits and emotions shape your behavior. Instead of avoiding these parts of yourself, integrating them can lead to self-awareness and personal transformation. So that's a brief description on who Carl Jung is and his contributions to psychology. I do encourage you to look him up in your spare time, but lo and behold, it's time to start talking about shadow work. In Jungian psychology, the self and reaching our true potential is the goal. The discovery of who we are and who we have always been, and the many facets of our personality, to acknowledge them and not keep them suppressed within ourselves. When we enter that phase of integration with our personality, we have to be loving, kind, and understanding of these different personalities. This concept is called individuation. This is the psychological process where we take the conscious and unconscious aspects of the self to achieve self-realization. Basically, what this means is to become who you truly are by embracing all parts of your personality. These are the darkest elements of your personality. This is every fucked up thought you've ever had. And you can't judge it. You just have to listen. You have to hear it out. Now, I'll be honest with you. I was so uncomfortable with my shadow aspect. I didn't really understand that I needed to accept it. My mission was to destroy it. That there was no way that this darkness could live inside of me. I didn't want to carry it with me another day. Wrong. You can't destroy that part of your personality. It's always been there. It's a part of who you are. And because I am the purveyor of the shell, I realized I needed to share space with it. When we start doing shadow work, the goal is the self. The self is the central archetype in Jungian psychology. The self represents wholeness and unity. This is what we strive to reach through individuation. What they'll tell you to do is to begin by journaling your thoughts. Record them. Doesn't matter if it's a sentence. Doesn't have to make sense to anyone. Just put it down on pen and paper. And do this once or twice a day. And at the end of the week, you go back through all the things that you've written down. The key here is to not be judgmental over the things that you've written, but to just sit with yourself, accept that your shadow is trying to communicate with you. This is a very uncomfortable process. You know, the darkest parts of ourselves, Me, for instance, I tried to destroy my shadow. I didn't even want it to be a part of me. But what I realized in setting out to kill my shadow was that I wasn't going to gain acceptance of the whole personality pie here. I was never going to be able to love myself if I could not love the darkest parts of myself. When I got sober and had decided that modeling and acting was no longer an option for me as a full-time job, and played around with the idea of stand-up comedy, I was amazed that not only was I unable to write a clean joke, but I couldn't write anything other than dark jokes, specifically about the things that I had endured throughout my life, finding the funny in the tragedy. That's when I was first able to record the thoughts and feelings of my shadow. I didn't judge it. I actually found it pretty funny. I must have horrified many an audience. And I loved every second of it. Because I had spent so many years feeling as if there was something wrong with me. It was only then that I realized that a lot of those experiences, from beating up the girl in the club to beating up the girl in the bathroom, that my shadow was very dry, witty, and very funny. So, step 1, journal your thoughts and feelings, and at the end of the week, review them in a non-judgmental way. Step number 2, dream analysis. Carl Jung was a big believer in dream analysis. He believed that it was a gateway into the subconscious mind. I know that while I was in my process of self-realization and discovery, that I was having nightmares every single night. But there were so many layers of symbolism in these nightmares. Like, for instance, a lot of the dreams, my mother wouldn't speak to me. She was almost like zombified when I would see her. Or I would be in water. Or I would be going in and out of these different buildings looking for something. But I was never told what it was that I needed to find. And I was able to break down what my subconscious mind was trying to tell me. There was one dream in particular that I believe I should share, because wild shit. So in this dream, I was in a Walmart, and there was this person that I know from comedy who was trying to be nice to me and what have you. I guess we were doing a show in the Walmart. Anyway, there was something about him that didn't seem right. So I reached out and I grabbed his neck. And when I grabbed his neck, it was almost like a grim reaper is what his face had transformed into. When I touched him and I looked at him, he became the Grim Reaper. And when I woke up, I knew that I was face to face with my shadow. So, dream analysis, it's very important. All you got to do is wake up and write it down. Whatever you remember, write it down. Go through the symbolism. Use Google for all I care. But break down the dream, and as you're breaking down the dream, you need to understand that every single person in the dream is you. They are reflections of you. What are they trying to tell you? Doing shadow work means there's a lot of self-inquiry that goes on. You have to ask yourself questions. But it is imperative that you find a way that you are comfortable with communicating with your shadow. You have to ask it questions like, how did you feel when this happened? What did you think when this person said that? Get it to confide itself in you. If getting yourself into a comfortable seated position and bringing yourself into a meditative state is more comfortable while you're asking your shadow questions, that will really open up a line of dialogue between you. Don't be afraid of the emotions that you feel. This is all of your beautiful repressed energy coming to the light. It's okay to feel. No one is judging you except you. Through shadow work, you can identify repeating patterns that are playing out in your life. This could be a type of person that you date, or maybe someone that you befriend. This could even be a pattern of jumping to conclusions, catastrophizing situations that haven't even come to fruition yet. Through these patterns, we develop unhealthy ways in which we cope. But when you put a spotlight and you leave room to ask yourself, why am I doing this? 9 times out of 10, through patience and self-acceptance, those answers will come to you. The shadow loves to use patterns to get our attention. Through journaling or speaking to the shadow, you will be able to identify the reason behind the pattern. All the answers that you're seeking aren't externally outside of you. They're all in here or here. Usually with the shadow, it's in here because, this doesn't tell no lies. This fucker, a little bit, but, it's holding a grudge because you didn't really want to know it before. I get it. The more I got interested in studying about my shadow, the more I learned to accept it, understand it, and love it. And the craziest thing happened. It was through that process that my life became more peaceful. It was in that acceptance that I was able to find within myself for the darkest aspects that I became genuine. I was allowed to live my life authentically. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but I wasn't hiding anything for once. I have fully been myself. Quirky, a little deranged, but you like it. Come on now, it makes you feel a little bit better, doesn't it? Doesn't it? And I don't apologize for it. I'm totally okay with every part and every aspect of who I am. That was the most important thing that I gained from studying Jungian psychology, putting in the time and the work to know myself. You have to understand that everybody has a shadow. It's not just you. It's me, you, and everyone else on this rock adrift in space. Society has a way of making people believe that there's something wrong with them. It's the fact that that's even put out into the atmosphere to infect your mind that those thoughts are even relevant. I love who I am, especially my shadow, because my shadow is so creative. Your shadow is creative too. A lot of that repressed energy, when we're projecting our fears and angers onto other people when things aren't working in our life, there's a massive amount of creative energy there. Like my comedy, when I go on stage, it's not me, it's my shadow. My shadow is the one who's performing for you. My shadow loves it when a black guy goes, "Oh shit!" I live to hear that when I'm on stage. It really makes me proud. So I think we've had a lot of fun on this episode. We've talked a lot about the shadow. You got to meet my shadow, who, my goodness, she's fabulous, flawless, and furious. But it's been nice introducing her to the world. She's a real motherfucker, and she knows it. But that's why I want to encourage you to introduce your shadow to the world and see how you feel about it. It's not evil. You've only been trained to believe that it's evil, that you're not allowed to have bad thoughts. But you know what? You're the only one who can hear what it is that you're thinking, at least until Elon Musk decides to put chips in us, and then it's game over. We're all fucked at that point. But until that happens, I think that you should encourage that part of you. You should listen to that part of you and hear it out. So whenever you get done watching this shitfest, I encourage you, get yourself a notebook. It could even... It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Look at that. Therapy notes. That's what it says. Go get yourself a marble notebook. Record the thoughts that you're thinking. Record your dreams. And get used to the idea that there is nothing wrong communicating with the darkest parts of you. Without it, you would be incomplete. And nobody wants that, especially when we're trying to heal ourselves. And as you start to jot those notes down, everything will become clear in due time. Don't rush that process. If it's uncomfortable, it's supposed to be. We are rewiring new pathways in the brain. And before I get out of here, I wanted you to know that I look forward to reading your comments. Please let me know how you feel about this video, or if you have suggestions for video topics, drop that in the comments as well. My name is Alexandra Van Zeeland, though you were speaking to AVZ. And remember, only love can change the world, and it starts with you.